Greetings, YouTube friends. On September 3rd, 1929, the Dow Jones Industrial Average saw a major cycle high. I've been tracking a 95-year cycle on the Dow Jones. This week, on September 3rd, 2024, the Dow Jones also put in a daily high. Today, we saw a major move down across the U.S. equity indexes. And today, we had another time cycle alignment with 1929. Over the past few months, we have multiple planetary cycle correlations linking back to 1929, 2007, and 1987. In this video, I'll break down some of the key dates and time cycles that I'm watching. All right, let's begin the video with a quick review of the 95-year cycle analog. And I'm not going to actually go over the details of how the 95-year cycle was created or what it is, because I have made an entire video about that, and it will be the highlighted link in the video description below. So you could, if you're not familiar with my work, you could actually pause this video and you could go watch that video first. For those of you who are familiar with my work, I'm just going to carry on. So we're going to do a little bit more in-depth dive. In the last video, we just talked about the analog and the Mars cycle. But what I'm going to point out is that when we use major highs and lows in the stock market, like the 1929 high or the 1932 low, we can actually project time cycles forward and using degrees of specific planetary measurements. And those time cycles will give us major monthly highs and lows in the stock market. So each of these tags here represents planetary cycle measurements that are anchored to either the high on 9/3/1929 or the low in 1932. And as you can see, we have a cluster of these all coming in here in August and September. The time band I had originally given was August 2nd to September 24th, that we were looking for a major monthly reversal in the U.S. equity indexes. So let's review that time band now. So beginning on August 2nd, we saw the unwinding of the yen carry trade. And the planetary time cycle that was correlated to the August 2nd event actually is a geocentric Jupiter cycle. And so this is an astrology chart here. The inner wheel here represents where all the planets were on October 28th, 1929. The outer wheel represents where the planets were on August 5th, 2024. And that was the biggest down move in the unwinding of the yen carry trade on August 5th, 2024. October 28th, 1929 was the beginning of the biggest two down days in the 1929 crash. So just like we can measure pivots from major monthly highs and lows, we can also measure major moves from other prior major moves in historical time cycles. So next, let's take a look at what happened today. Today was the 6th of September, 2024. And this morning, I actually made a post on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter yet, go ahead and do that. I'm at Margo_Amala. And my post said, today, actually it was overnight between the 5th and the 6th, Jupiter, and this is a heliocentric astrology chart. So there's a difference between the two. And I use both, actually. So on the heliocentric chart today, Jupiter made a perfect alignment to the degree and the minute of where it was on October 28th, 1929. So I was looking for a major down move today in the stock market, which we did indeed get. So now that brings us to where we are right now. And what are the next events that we're going to be watching for? So tomorrow, which is the 7th of September, we will have, as you can see, this is the chart from the 6th, but on the 7th, Mercury, which is this little symbol here, will have moved enough to be in a complete conjunction with Jupiter here, still at 8 degrees, just a few minutes past where Jupiter was on October 28th, 1929. So that continues to activate this Jupiter point. And then, as you can see here, we have Uranus and Mars. Also, they're in Taurus at the moment, but they are moving towards a conjunction that is going to happen on the 14th of September. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But on our way to the 14th, we're going to take a look at the 10th. But before we look at the 10th, actually what I'm going to do is show you, this is the heliocentric chart for October 11th, 2007. This is the high, the highest day in the stock market before the great financial crisis of 2008. And as you can see, we had Mars at 24 degrees of Taurus. And we also had Venus in approaching a conjunction here with Mars in those 3-degree orb. So I give most things a 3 to 5 degree orb of influence. That means a window of time that I would expect that aspect to be in effect. And so now that we have seen that, I'm going to slip on over here to next week. This is September 9th, 2024. What I wanted to show you is that we have a Venus-Mars opposition happening at 22 degrees Taurus and 22 degrees Scorpio. So this is the two planets that were involved in the top at the 2007 stock market high. They were in a conjunction there, and they are now in opposition here. This is also a pretty powerful aspect configuration here because we have Chiron in Aries here, and we have Mercury in Gemini here forming a sextile. And then this is called a yod. A yod is a powerful aspect in astrology, also known as the finger of God. And so what we have going on here is this major opposition between Mars and Venus, with Venus as the apex of the yod. And so this, to me, is going to be a very powerful day looking for strong moves and potentially pivots in the stock market, and specifically correlated to the high in 2007. And then the last date that I want to show everybody to keep our eyes on for the end of next week actually is the 14th of September. So these were all heliocentric charts here that I'm showing you. So on the 14th of September, we have the Mars-Uranus conjunction from the heliocentric perspective happening at 24 degrees of Taurus. And this is the exact degree that Mars was at on October 11th, 2007, which was the high of the 2007 stock market. So we have a lot of time cycle fractals, I'm going to call them, occurring, different planetary cycles kind of coalescing all at one time over the course of the next couple weeks. But then there's even more events like this happening, specifically some very powerful ones into December, which will be the topic of a future video. But for now, friends, just keep in mind where we're at in this time cycle. Take note of this major weekly reversal candle that we saw last week. Remember that we are in the time band for a major monthly top, and trade smart.